I gotta get the amen choir over there. Good. There we go. Check your phone. All right. All right. See, Lewis is getting set up. We good. Lewis is getting set up. Our new entertainment person, which I'm not gonna say until we actually get there, is getting set up. Okay. Okay. I had to, yeah, we need a new engineer, but I'm not firing myself, so forget y'all. So that ain't happening. It ain't gonna never happen. So, all right, this is 401 Sports Talk Radio on 401radionetwork.com. I am the bench warmer sitting in for the bench warmer. I'm sitting in for myself, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. I'm sitting in for myself. Okay, and we have some new people on the stage. Well, we're not new people. You've heard her before. She is security. Security was behind the scenes, and we wound up having to renegotiate a contract to where security comes in front of the scene, and that was a hard contract. Was it? That was a hard contract. I didn't know how we got through it and everything, but it was a hard contract. So now security is in front of the scene. How are you doing? So this is security, you guys. So whenever we say security, this is who we're talking about. So let's do this right here. Let's give security a round of applause. Oh, there we go. We got security around the applause. Round of applause.
Oh,
yeah.
there's an echo there.
Now we got the echoes out too. Okay, so that's security. She's now on the front end of the stage, and not the back end of the stage. So how you doing today?
I'm still kind of back end.
I'm
doing great.
You're doing great. You tell everybody else to get up, speak up to the microphone, so you don't speak up to the microphone.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
Yeah, you tell everybody else to speak
there,
up.
How's that? How's that?
Okay,
Is that better?
That's great. That's great.
All
right. Then next to my immediate right is a professor. Professor's a tried and true, stable. He like that rock ain't going nowhere. Rock of Gibraltar right there.
Oh, faithful.
Professor, what's going on, sir?
Everything is everything.
All right. How was your weekend?
Weekend was nothing but a bunch of kids in my face.
So you had a bad weekend.
But it was very family oriented. Spent a lot of time with all the kids. And of course, spending time with dad and the chance I get. Did a lot of kid stuff this weekend. Playing with them, went to a birthday
party. They ain't gonna get over no time soon.
Taking them to work and.
You took them to work?
Well,
your older kids you took to work.
I have 4 kids over 14 and 2 younger than 5.
Wow.
So I have to deal with.
You got that split.
Man, what in the world were you thinking?
Bless you, my son.
Look, you was almost out the gate.
Bless you, my son.
I started at 17. I'm 40 now, but I'm just saying.
16.
But you was almost out the gate, but no.
But see, when I got to the gate, when I saw them pearly lights, I stopped.
But
no more.
You got to go get some more, huh?
I mean, I had planned on stop having kids after the 2002-2003 year, but
are you through?
When you marry somebody else, you can't be stingy.
That's true.
Are you through?
I hope so.
Well, Canetta, where are you?
Yeah, I know.
Are you through?
You're still trying to figure that out, right?
And then
it's up to Canetta, right?
When I married her, she had not had any kids in 16 years.
Wow.
Because Kiara was 22, and
right.
Then she lost a set of twins due to stillbirth, and after she had, there was a long.
Wow.
Dry spell not having kids till she met me.
Really love kids.
So
man, that dry spell. I'd have kept that dry spell.
Man, I've been adopting.
Man,
sharing my nieces and nephews.
It been cobwebs in that spell right there.
Look, when our grandkids come over, I'll be like, bye.
And that's another thing. That's another thing I did. Visit my grandson.
He's so cute.
I'm like, oh my God.
But see,
someone to squeeze him.
The thing is that you can give grandkids back.
That's true.
You can't give kids back.
Yeah.
You got 2 of them you can't give back.
Yeah. They're stuck for life.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, security, how was your weekend?
Oh my gosh. Security. It was exhausting.
It's funny to see security on set with us, right?
It was secure.
Well, I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to ask you something. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's funny.
I'm going to be brief. I'm going to try to be brief. I had 2 events this weekend. I was with the bench warmer, of course. Friday night and Saturday. And then Sunday, I did a Black Bridal Expo. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. And it was wonderful to go to the, it's my second year at the Texas Black Sports Hall of Fame. As long as I've been with him.
You have to speak to them.
I am speaking into the mic. I can hear myself, mister. I can hear myself.
Everybody else speaking to the mic.
Speaking to the mic. Okay, so the Texas Black Sports Hall of Fame was wonderful. It was, I love going to the African American Museum. It is just beautiful. I love going to see all the art and just to see us as I'm Wakanda forever. You know, I love everybody, but it is just beautiful to see us in such an atmosphere. You know, the Texas Black Sports Hall of Fame. You know, seeing all of those sports figures. I mean, there was a gentleman there from the Negro Leagues. You hear me? Lucius Williams. And he didn't hold back on his words.
He didn't hold back on his words.
He reminded me of my grandmother. She just let it all hang out.
They called
the N-word. And I mean, he said it.
First they said we black, now we
he wasn't ashamed.
Now we Negroes. And then, you know.
He was not ashamed. And then we had Russell Maryland, who had been on the show before, and he became a comedian I didn't know was in him. It was like having Cedric the Entertainer up there. It was wonderful. And I met Dennis Rodman's sister, Deborah Rodman, who was in basketball and doing all kinds of stuff before he even came on scene. She pretty much got him in the mix.
And she said when he dressed up, he looked like her.
Looks just like her. Oh, between her and Russell Maryland, I was in stitches. You hear me? Yeah. So those 2 days were great. And then, like I said, Sunday we did a Black Bridal Expo. I'm the social media director for another magazine, and we work with Ivy.
I'm gonna be brief.
Yeah, I said okay, anyway, it was beautiful to see all of us business owners in the wedding industry come together to serve black brides and grooms, and it was beautiful. And I'm exhausted. I literally tried to get up Monday morning, and my body was just like, hold up. Don't do it. So, anyway. Yeah, so it was a great weekend.
It was a...
How was your weekend, bitch woman?
I don't know, you just summed it up, so... No, it was good talking to. I actually tried to pull a fight.
Pull a fight.
Pick a fight. No, I was instigating. I tried to instigate a fight bad.
We should change his name to the instigator.
I tried to instigate a fight bad too. Russell Maryland and Merton Hanks was inducted.
Oh my God.
So
I did that name.
So I asked. Yeah. So I asked, are we gonna reinvent the 1994 fight? That was that 93 fight. No, it was a 94 fight.
94.
The 1994 fight with the Cowboys and Russell was like, well, if he don't do that neck thing, we good. But if he start that neck thing, it's gonna be a fight.
It was hilarious.
So but I mean, Merton Hanks is real. I mean, actually, I found out that we went to the same school. Mm-hmm. He went to Lake Highlands and I went to Lake Highlands.
Wow.
But he was he's older than me.
Okay.
But we went to the same, had the same teacher too. Same biology teacher. Mm-hmm. I hated that lady.
That's so not nice.
Okay, I didn't like her. She
hating is harsh.
Okay, my grades were not good in her class.
Well, whose fault was that?
Hers fault.
Oh, okay.
She caught me cheating, and she didn't let me finish going.
So again, I say, whose fault was that?
Anyway,
was it the teacher's or yours?
It was her fault because she shouldn't walk by. She don't never walk by. So that was a good conversation. R.S. Gilmore was a real good conversation. That boy is 7'2".
He's huge.
7'2". But yeah. So we had to sit down on his interview. I wasn't standing up like this right here. No, we had to sit down. But then when he sat down and said he's 6'2". I'm like, are you sure? Who's measuring you? So that was a good interview.
A lot of comedians.
Yeah, that was a good interview. Billy White Shoes Johnson was a good interview too.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he was a good interview.
And he wore white shoes all weekend.
Wore white shoes the whole weekend. Mm-hmm. So that was a real good interview there. I mean, everybody, Deborah was good. Rita Crockett was a real good interview.
Oh, I liked her. She said she's a bad... Shut your mouth.
Yeah. Rita Crockett was a volleyball player.
Mm-hmm. Beach volleyball.
She started out in hardwood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then she went on the beach, and she was first African American to do beach black volleyball. Mm-hmm. You know, so that was a real good interview. I mean, the whole night was good. Both nights were really good.
Wow.
Both nights were really, really
awesome.
good. Yeah, yeah. So
and the food.
The food was.
Oh my gosh.
What was the food?
I forgot the lady's name.
You talking about? You talking about at the?
We had at the African American.
Yeah. Okay. That food.
It was bread.
It was. I got it right here.
Like there she is.
It was the Daily Bread Catering.
Daily Bread Catering by Brenda.
Yeah.
And her food was excellent, and she was so sweet because we're the help.
Yeah,
and we're supposed to get our food last, but she put the food to the side
yeah.
and she got us some because she knew once them players came down, that's gonna be all she
wrote.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
It was over. Yeah, because them boys,
they could eat.
They could eat. Yeah,
they could eat still.
Yeah,
they've been out the game for a while, but they can still eat.
Still throw down.
And Russell Maryland, I loved his thanking of his wife. He called her. Have you seen Black Panther?
Yes.
He called her his Okoye. Oh, it was off the chain. You got to go look at the videos. They're all on the page.
Yes.
On 411 Sports News, and they're all on our YouTube page on 411 Radio Network.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They've all been uploaded.
So
they're great.
So today is Scandal Tuesday.
Oh Lord.
Scandal Tuesday. We got so many scandals going on in the NFL and NBA and NCAA. This is Scandal Tuesday. My question is, what should we start with first? I think because we're the locals, we have to start with a local team, which would be the Dallas Mavericks.
Homegirl came in swinging, didn't she?
She did. So here's what we'll do. We would go to break.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Videographer.
Yeah, we would go to break.
That's a good idea.
And as soon as we get out of break, we're going to get into Scandal Tuesday. Yeah, so now
Scandalous.
Now comes the what music am I gonna play for break?
Prince.
No, Dante listening.
Yeah, I know he is. I know he is.
Play some Black Panther.
No, we're not doing that soundtrack. That soundtrack is
no, I like that song.
It's a crappy soundtrack.
It's a wax soundtrack.
It is.
It's a wax soundtrack.
It grows on you. Now I don't like the ones with all that cussing.
It's a wax soundtrack. Mm-hmm. So we're getting ready to take a break, and as soon as we come back, we're going to get into Scandalous Tuesday. What do I call it? Scandal Tuesday. Scandalous Tuesday. And if my songs don't just do right one day or the other, the way they're supposed to do, we'd be all right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, no, I ain't gonna do no Otis Redding sit on the
Please don't. Come on, bitch woman.
I know. I'm figuring.
What's the problem?
No. I should just stick with Alicia Keys.
Which one was that?
Everything's everything.
Hmm?
I don't know. This is just going crazy with me. All right, so
any engineers out there?
We'll try this. Nobody's getting fired.
Somebody.
Okay, so when we come back, this is the 41 Sports Talk Radio on 41RadioNetwork.com. We will be right back.
Let's roll.
Let's go.
Okay.
What in the world?
Do you hear anything? I don't hear anything either. I don't know what.
Not a thing. I hear it now.
Okay, so.
You still hot?
Still hot?
Mm-hmm. Something's hot.
Y'all talking out of Better. Oh well, you hear music.
You got some details up? Spring or
Yeah, I'm waiting for my team to come back. I'm waiting.
They got too close. This is a new phone. This is the first time I'm doing a live It's a Samsung 8, what they call it. We went to, we left T-Mobile, we went to Verizon. T-Mobile had not also.
Alright, it's gonna go on for, we got 2 minutes though.
That's 2 minutes.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Alright.
Good.
Enjoying it so far?
I am. I really am.
That was your room, huh? Yeah. Look, we over here rubbing elbows.
I don't like you either.
See, that just cost you too.
Yeah, there goes your pizza. So we got 46 seconds. No, we're doing submission.
Oh, yeah.
Are y'all ready? That's 19 seconds.
I mean, another try.
That's 19 seconds, though, right?
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
Sure.
Sure.
Talking about the mic.
And the earphones.
I got you. All right. We're back.
Oh, there's that echo.
Yeah, echo's gonna go. Okay, we're back in full effect. Oh, we're back. Oh. Yeah, we are. There we go. Okay, we're back. This has been 4-1 Sports Talk Radio on 4OneRadioNetwork.com. I am the bench runner sitting in with security. And you up? Can you hear?
No.
You're not going to give me a new name?
No.
We'll always be security, huh?
We'll think about it.
Keep going.
You good?
Keep going. Okay. Yeah,
Okay. We'll think about it.
You finally grew on me, so yeah, don't change it.
Okay. All right. So, Scandal Tuesday starts out with the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, so over the course of a week or two, or last week actually, it came out that the Dallas Mavericks, particularly Trudima Usry, was involved in a lot of sexual harassment charges. Why did I say harassment? Isn't it harassment?
It's harassment.
Who said
Yes.
harassment?
Some people say
Some
harassment.
people say harassment.
Yeah.
Potato, tomato.
Okay.
You know?
Well, sexual harassment scandals, and they talk about this has been going on for the last 2 decades.
You just said it wrong.
You know,
That's crazy.
for the past 2 decades, they talk about this been going on. And one incident that was talked about is he was at the media room. So if you when you cover the Mavericks, there's a media lounge, and so the media lounge is where we all go and get something to eat. So we all go to the media lounge, and they may have hot dogs or whatever. So the staff will come in also to get something to eat. Well, Trudima comes in one day and gets something to eat, and he sits down next to one of his staffers, and then across from the ESPN reporter. And so he tells the staffer, the lady, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And this is what's been reported. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? And she said, well, I'm really not doing that. I said, yeah, you doing something. You gonna get gangbanged this weekend. And then she said,
got slapped.
Yeah, and then she said, no. And she said, yeah, that's what you gonna do this weekend.
I'd have lost my job that day.
I'm like,
teeth would have been on the floor.
And what's so crazy about it is in the locker room was a safe haven. So if I'm in the locker room, I would go to the locker room, and I promise you, there were a lot of staffers that would just come into the locker room because that's Maverick safe haven. Because anything outside of the locker room is not safe haven at all. So you have that, and then you have one of the reporters from Mavericks.com, Earl, I think his name.
Earl Sneed.
Earl Sneed, yeah.
Earl K. Sneed.
Yeah. He actually
What's K for?
Crazy.
I don't know what his middle name is.
No, but he actually
Hey, Erica.
in domestic abuse. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So then he got tried, got sent to jail, did time, came back and still worked for the Mavericks. Then did it again.
Oh.
So this is not once, this is twice. And he only got fired recently because the report came out from and Sports Illustrated did the report. The report came out. That's why he got fired again.
The minute the report came out, Sneed immediately took down his Twitter account.
Yeah.
A few minutes after
the report came out.
After Sports Illustrated report came out.
But why did it take him so long to get fired again?
See, those are the lane of questions that's going on with the Mavericks now. And from what I heard, either today or yesterday, Cuban has hired, I can't remember her name, but she's an African American.
Cynthia Marshall.
Right.
Cynthia, yeah.
Yes.
And when she was posed with that question by a media member, and I'll paraphrase, she pretty much said, we'll look into it, we'll get this handled.
Right. And what's so crazy about it, so the press conference came out with Cynthia Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the press conference, it looked like she was running Mark Cuban. Because they would ask Cuban a question, and she would answer the question. No, we got that covered. He was like, no, we got that covered. I mean, it looked like she ran the press conference.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure Cuban knew who he hired and why he hired her. And I'm gonna tell you something. For me, real quick, I think Mark Cuban, his goal and his concentration is on the financial business side players. Okay. He want to hire somebody that looks after the personal stuff.
Yes.
He don't want to be.
He want to deal with
that.
So when it came out that it was a claim that he didn't really know all this was going on, I tend to believe him. You don't think he knows? Okay, I tend to believe him.
He made a statement to somebody that says, he has his hands in everything. I know everything that's going on in my company. Now all of a sudden, I didn't know.
But see, from what I also heard, before the report came out, he went to HR and asked HR, is there anything I need to know before it hits?
Well, how
they kept telling him no.
But how are you going to go to the man that's part of this whole thing? Because the HR director he got fired too. Right. Because he was part of this whole thing. Yeah. And the thing I look at it is Tradema Ushery said that in his statement he said that he didn't really know what was going on. He actually went to the organization because some things came to him. And I'm sitting there thinking, Tradema, you're the president. You're the CEO. You have the right to fire anybody you want to when you hear something coming across your table. Mm-hmm. So how can you say I went to the organization and you are the organization?
You are the president.
Yeah. I mean, who the next higher up can you go to? Which is Mark Cuban. Mm-hmm. So if you went to Mark Cuban and he turned the eye on it, and you couldn't do anything about it, then that's one thing. But now Cuban is saying, I didn't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. Somebody knew something.
Yeah.
I believe that. Somebody knew something.
Somebody knew something. And the question,
since he was the next higher up, then he felt like he can get away with what he was doing.
And he was getting away for 2 decades.
He has gotten away with it. Absolutely. And I'm glad that she finally stepped up and said something.
Yeah.
That it's being handled.
Well, the other thing is this right here. He went to Under Armour, was put in the same position. They fired him on the spot. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he's not saying anything to the media or anything like that. So he's kind of kept a quiet eye. But my thing is this right here: if you didn't do it, the last thing you need to do is be silent.
And then something happened back in '98.
Yeah, well, that's when the sexual harassment was in '98.
And somehow it got swept up on the rug.
It did.
And the operation kept going.
Years.
Well, there was an investigation that was done just before Mark Cuban bought the team. There was an investigation that was done, and the investigation kind of just went away. Remember Frank Zaccanelli, and this is in the Zaccanelli years. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. So that happened, and they kind of investigated. Ross Perot Jr. Yeah.
I was still a baby.
No, you wasn't.
98?
I was still in diapers.
What diaper?
Well, we're not going to go
Okay,
with
okay.
security.
She got bladder issues.
Hey. Watch out there now. Watch out.
Bladder issues there.
Oh, boy.
You in diapers at 28? That's a problem.
You know what? Did you just say that?
You just stopped at 29.
You just told her age.
Where's the censor button?
I just threw out a number. I didn't know. I don't know.
Yeah, you gonna
I
get
don't know.
it.
I
'Cause
just
I was
thought
not
number.
that age at that time. Thank you very much.
I just threw out a number. I don't know.
Everybody know about Cedric, so everybody knows Cedric's full name, so
That's
don't
different.
participate.
He's a guy. Y'all
Oh,
are guys.
okay.
You can't do
I
that
just
to
threw out a
us.
number. I just threw out a number. I don't know.
Tell them. Look, I'm 29 plus some years of experience.
Yes.
That's how old I am.
That's
Oh, my
right.
Just get it straight.
That's
We just
right.
need to figure out what
Boy.
what 29th anniversary are we on.
My
Anyway.
mother and my grandmother said I can be 29 for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll talk to them. Anyway, so with the Mark Cuban, all right, he said he didn't know, but before that, and you're right, he did report it. I know everything about Jocks the Socks, the Jerry Jones type thing. I know everything that's going on in my organization. Now all of a sudden this comes out, you don't know anything. The thing I like about what Mark Cuban did is he took a swift move and said, okay, let's bring in let's bring the CEO, and he didn't bring in just a CEO. He brought in a African American woman CEO to be
Y'all
the
see
CEO.
how African American women are just stepping up into these leadership positions? Power to the girls!
Oh my God! Oh God!
Woman
So we got to go to break now, and when we come back, no, but it's good he brought her in because her background and listening to her background, she talks about how domestic abuse or domestic violence was a part of her family. She was a part of that.
So she's passionate.
Yeah, she's very passionate about sexual harassment and everything. She talks about that. One of the things that and they call it sense.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that Mark Cuban said is when she left AT&T, the people at AT&T said that was the worst day of their lives. That was their worst day.
Erica said, "We run the world.
Okay.
We run the world, girls. We run the world,
Okay.
girls."
Well, let me say this.
Whatever.
Let me say this.
Y'all ain't gonna like me on this show.
Our Dallas DA is a female.
Yes, our
She's
Dallas
black.
police chief is a female.
And she's a
Oh.
female as
African
well.
American female.
Now you got this moving more Cuban.
Whoa.
All of them are 3 African American females.
So the Cowboys gonna hire them African American GM?
Wakanda forever.
you never know.
No.
No,
Come on
no.
now, we gotta get something around here.
But that's
Y'all
sending
need to
a
step
message,
up.
though. That's my point. It's
What
sending a
does it
message.
say when you have all these African American women in leadership? Where are the men at? Where
The
y'all
men
at?
are there.
We're there.
It's the choices that's being made by probably the man.
The man, meaning
Right.
Charlie.
Mark Cuban is still the head of the franchise, though.
That neck on that foot on your neck, man.
So they would rather see an African American woman step into leadership than an African American
I'm gonna tell you.
male.
I'm gonna tell you
think
something.
so?
People need to see change.
They do.
That's all I'm gonna say. People need to see change. I have no issue with it. If
Well, I don't have an
if it-
issue as long as it works.
that's my
Well,
point.
she looked like she
I have
got to
no
work
issue
it
with
out.
Yeah, she looked like she gonna.
She did that
Like
press
she said,
conference.
yeah.
He had it on upstairs, and I heard her voice, and I just came to attention. I was like, "Ooh, who
Yeah,
is that?"
she had
She
like-
And let's not-
commanded it just with her
Exactly.
voice.
Mhm.
And let's not forget God ordained women in the Bible in leadership. One of them being Deborah.
Yes, yes.
So
Judge, right?
let's don't get it twisted. It can happen.
Okay, I mean,
I have no issue with that.
I don't have no qualms over that. I really no.
We're gonna have a talk about this later. Watch.
I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Y'all do your thing.
Erica said, "Girls, yes."
Y'all do your thing. So got me totally thrown off the subject. But still,
Sorry. Okay, what's next?
no, but no, I like the fact that Mark Cuban acts swiftly, and I think he's doing this to avoid punishment, because one of the punishments could be that they take away a draft pick.
And that's the last thing the Mavericks need right now.
And then the part of that is
He already put his foot in his mouth
well,
talking about
Mark
we losing
Cuban,
games so we can get a...
that's what we're gonna talk about, is that he went on Dr. J's air and said that I'm okay with you if you guys lose the game.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
And got fined
Yes,
$600,000.
Yes, by Adam Silver.
Yeah, because he said, "Oh, you lose again."
Now that part.
That was dumb.
I didn't agree with Mark Cuban.
No, I didn't either. Don't say it. Look, number one, I agree with what he said.
But don't say it.
Do what you got to do.
Don't say it publicly.
In the closet.
Right. I agree with what you said because how many times we say, this team ain't going nowhere. Why are we still trying to make it? We need draft picks.
Right.
We need a good draft pick. So my thing is, I'm okay with what you said, but don't say it publicly because you got to find, okay, yeah.
Byron says that biblically wise, Deborah was not over men, and that is correct.
That is correct.
There was no woman that was over men. She was ordained to lead in her position.
Right. God never put, and I hate to say it like this, sounds male chauvinistic, but God never put women to be in charge of
right. That is, he is correct.
Yeah.
But I made that point for a reason.
Yes.
That was the reason being, when men don't step up the way they should, it's no issue that a woman would do it temporarily.
But
God made us to be head of our households and be leaders. However,
if we don't, that's when but we put our
the next logical choice.
The problem with that is that we put them in that position. We force them to have to do that. All these deadbeat dads going around. We force the woman to have to be the man in the household. That's a force that we're doing. It's not that they actually want to do it. It's like they're being forced to do it. Being forced to put in that position.
It's hard being a single mom.
So that's something we need to step up and deal with.
Yeah.
And if we're not going to step up and deal with it, then
sit back and be quiet.
You got to
let us do our thing.
You got to take it. Now, when we do it, y'all need to sit back and be quiet and let us do our thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying,
Then go ahead, then.
I'm just saying, when we do roll like that, y'all need to,
roll on.
This ain't no parked car around here. We driving. We on 635. Going 80. Anyway,
drive that train.
So Mark Cuban got fined $600,000 for saying the statement that he said, let's go ahead and tank it the rest of the season.
And what's so funny? Cuban to me is not the type of person that always gets out there and says something that's clearly wrong. He's not a Trump that's like just tweeting whatever's on his mind. That was shocking to me.
He was clearly wrong this time.
Yeah, but it was shocking to me because I've always seen him as a very, he says what he means, but he's reserved in how he says it. And, he doesn't say anything to me that would get him legally in trouble. So this kind of, he has done that in the past, but not as often.
He's probably the most fined owner in the NBA.
But not that often.
But more fine than anybody else. So do you put both of those together and say, even though you guys get the third or the second or the first pick of the draft, we're taking it away.
That would be devastating to that
franchise. That would take the franchise down.
It sure would.
10 years. It would take it back 10 years.
We got some audience comments. You want to read them?
Okay, so
Erica.
Erica says it doesn't matter who's putting.
No. Men are.
Men are supposed to be the head of the household.
That is correct.
And then Byron
says, but glad to see Cuban put a woman in that position. Erica says it doesn't matter who's put in the position in the workplace as long as they meet the qualifications and are morally and ethically upright. I agree with that.
Amen.
You're saying
I like that.
Erica also says, I believe in equality, opportunity in the workplace.
Go ahead, girl.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Girl, this is the most you done spoke since I've been in this show.
Don't start that.
Yeah.
Is it because of me? Because I'm here?
Oh, good.
Girl power.
Okay. Moving right along.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Byron, and thank you, Valder.
What Erica is saying, it's just totally on point. It's very accurate.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
And it goes back to what I said. It's nothing wrong with change.
It's not.
Isn't that wrong? It's not wrong. As long as change is for a movement upward and not moving back down.
Yes.
Correct.
So aren't you guys glad to see like you said, the change and even though it's not an African American male in these leadership positions, aren't you proud of our African American women in these positions?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it a beautiful thing to see that?
Yeah, I've always been proud of that. But I'll say this right here. I say but. I'm gonna say and. I'll say this right here. I'll say this right here. How many African American men are being looked over?
Well, see, we don't know that.
No, you actually do know that. Because
what you talking about, Willis?
Well, no. While the African American woman is being uplifted, there are men that are qualified for that position that because she's an African American woman gets looked over.
How do you know that?
There's research and that's been done. I'm trying to figure this out while you ask me.
Moving on.
So many damn questions.
Look, you put me here. I'm not in a wife position. You told me that before I got on the show.
Ask me so many damn questions.
I'm not your wife right now.
No, but really though, could there have been another? I mean, I'm saying this right here.
But we don't know who was applying for the position.
Or was even the position has been open for like the last since Tradema left.
But that's what I'm saying. So obviously there was no one that was qualified to be in that position until this woman came along and did what she did.
Obviously he's doing that because he's doing this because the scandal came along.
You think so?
Yes. The moment the scandal came along, now all of a sudden we got a CEO right now.
So do you think that she was hired because of her African American womanness?
I think there's two different. I think there's because she's an African American woman, and I think she's a woman. I think because she's a woman and she's African American, I think that's why she was hired.
I'm at the third thing because of her resume.
Well, because her her resume from 18.
So her qualifications couldn't get her there.
I mean, but how many other black men had the same qualifications?
But we don't know. That's what I'm saying.
You'll never know.
Obviously, he saw something in her besides her African American womanness.
Right.
That would get her into that position. Her qualifications speak for themselves.
Okay, so Byron, the real question is, okay, now the real question.
He knows. I do not.
How do y'all get Shelly there?
That's only for Cedric.
It was sweet talking Denzel over here. Sweet talker came in the room and said, "Okay, you want to be on the show? What did you say to me anyway?" I think I was half asleep when he said it. I was tired. He came in over the weekend knowing I'm exhausted from all this stuff that's going on. Was it Sunday night you said it? 3 days of events, and then he comes in, you're going to have to be the entertainment reporter on the show, huh?
I said one of them Denzel lines. And
I told you, he pulled the Denzel on me.
Anyway.
Denzel wool over my eyes. That's how he did it, B.
So that's how we know. All right, so
Erica said that is a possibility, but we can't prove it one way or the other.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And you can't prove it one way or the other.
You can't say that was research.
No, what I can say.
You didn't see the applications.
What I can say is this right here. Why is it that Tradema's position has just now been filled over 2 years?
Obviously, it needed to be filled, and to now is the right time. What did the Bible say? Esther went into the king for such a time as this.
Why is now the right time?
Such a time as this.
Is now the right time? Because it's scandal.
Because he's going through some drama.
Exactly.
He needed a powerful black woman to come up in there and do the thing.
Had he not gone through this drama,
black unicorn,
would she ever been hired?
No.
And that's my point.
No.
Well, we don't know.
Had he not gone through this
drama, I'm saying that
because the position was still open.
Everything was just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. There was no discussion about the marriage, HR department,
right,
or anything relative to that up until sports.
How do we know that?
Because why all of a sudden you come out with you got a new CEO when the scandal comes out?
How do you know they weren't searching this whole time and they just didn't find the
right? 2 years you ain't gonna find anybody qualified.
Now that's a point. We won't know that.
You won't know
because internal things will go on within the organization.
Wait. Until they're needed.
You're talking about the CEO of a corporation over 2 years. I mean, since Tradema was left in 2015. Over 2 years, you can't throw
anybody into that position.
And there was nobody qualified for in 2 years.
Just throw anybody into a CEO position. That is a long, drawn out search process.
There was nobody qualified within a 2-year process until this until the scandal came out.
I have seen
companies
that have taken years to fill a prominent position like that because it takes time. But
not after a scandal.
Mm-hmm. Erica says, I'm sure the public relations representative and the lawyers advised him to fill the position.
Exactly. Yeah, she did that. Yeah, after the scandal, now you need to fill it right now.
And she may have her resume may have been sitting there for the longest time, and they finally said, okay, this is the one right here. We was already eyeballing her, but now we really need her.
She said he was too busy focusing on Shark Tank.
Right.
Yeah, Shark Tank.
Well. Let me take that comment. It goes back to what I said earlier. how do we know? Mark Cuban's pretty much is saying, and he didn't say this perfect verbatim, this is what I'm thinking is going on.
Okay.
The man had so much going on, he didn't know what was going on this personal end.
I can see that.
Shark Tank trying to handle the salary cap, the money part, the business part, the players,
and
that
the team
side.
Sorry.
And he hired somebody to hold it down on the other side, and they wouldn't know what they're supposed to do.
And he really
the SIreport.com report comes out. And he was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I gotta do something.
So he goes to HR department. He started cleaning. You fired, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go and take care of this real quick because I don't have time. I'm the owner. I can oversee this, but I choose not to oversee it because I want to trust somebody that handle that side so I can handle the business perspective of the organization.
And he really didn't.
And that's why I'm thinking. I'm believing what this man is saying because. As you say, something was going on, somebody knew. But what I'm saying is Mark Cuban may very well have been a person that really wasn't intertwined with the personal human relations aspect of the organization.
I can see that.
I can see that. But I'll say this right here. He really didn't have to tell the team to tank because they started anyway.
They were already tanking on their own.
Right.
They didn't need to push. Your help. They didn't need to be motivated to do that. They were already doing a great job themselves.
So this story will keep going on until until the NBA gets a resolution.
And then I have one other thing. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes, you did.
The question. Sorry about that. My mind running now, and it's supposed to say it like that.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, Professor.
When does it become a point where we have too much responsibility to a point this happens? Should we delegate our responsibilities to a point where, you know what, I got too much going on. Let me let go of some of this. Shark Tank. I'm just an example.
I hear what you're saying. The issue is though,
does he have too many responsibilities to a point that he can't oversee everything? Or
and he can't. That's why you needed the CEO so you can deal with all that. Here's the issue though. When you have your head HR is a part of these scandals, you're never going to get the right answer. When your CEO is a part of these scandals, you're never going to get the right answer. Mm-hmm. Right. When you have the wrong people in the wrong place. And my thing is this right here. When Cuban bought the team in '99, the scandal with Trevima Usher was already on the table.
Right.
He had every right to say, you know what, we're going to let you go.
At that
point, he could have said, we're letting you go because I don't need to buy the team with this crap on me. Mm-hmm. He had every opportunity to do that. He never did that. Mm-hmm. Then you bring in the Mavs.com guy, and he does a
Earl K. Snead.
Earl K. Snead. Anyway, he has domestic violence.
Mavs.com guy.
He has domestic violence, and then they bring him back on. He spent jail time. They bring him back on, and Mark Cuban's excuse, "Oh, that's my bad. We didn't want him going somewhere else to trouble somebody else's team." Mm. I mean, and he does it again in the same time.
But you remember, in the last few years is when the family violence and all that stuff has really become more
and this is why
on the forefront, and it wasn't back then. And I think with all this cover up and all this stuff, and the women not coming out and all that, it's because they were shamed. And they were made to feel ashamed for doing those things and coming to the forefront. And the guys were like, okay, you can't do nothing anyway. So we just gonna keep on doing what we do.
I mean,
but now it's out there. You got the hashtag Me Too, and everybody's coming out.
And I agree with you there. My thing is this right here. Okay, why is it? It's almost like everybody's knee jerking. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got that knee jerk reaction. Oh my God! I mean, you can't say hi to women. You can't say hi to them without getting sexual harassment charge on you.
Well, don't be saying hi to them then.
Dang, you can't speak.
Don't look.
I mean, is that the world we live in?
That's crazy. No, that's the world we live in right now. This knee jerk world. You say, oh, and any woman can come out and say sexual harassment. And guess what?
You just touched my knee.
Right, and sexual harassment.
I mentioned this to a friend of mine not too long ago, and I had brought up the thought ever since the allegations on Bill Cosby was assessed. It was like a domino effect followed right behind it.
We run into the bank with this.
Now everybody is
Ryan Seacrest is also in the mix.
Everybody's also in the mix.
Ryan Seacrest. First of all, I thought he was gay.
Oh.
I did not know
Where
that he was actually
a man might be accusing.
No, it's a woman.
Okay.
It's a woman.
But what I'm saying is this right here. Ever since once you do that, it's almost like the Ezekiel Elliott thing.
Mm-hmm.
Once she claims that he hit her, domestic violence, guess what? He's going down regardless if he did it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Ezekiel Elliott's punishment was because of Ray Rice's issue, and they didn't handle that the way they should have.
We want tough love,
so they used him as an example,
as a scapegoat. We want tough love, so now we're gonna roll out with tough love.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me, it's just crazy, you know.
Byron said he needed someone like a big mama to step in and lay down the law while he's over doing Shark Tank.
So is Shark Tank played out now?
Oh my gosh, I haven't watched that show in so long.
Yeah, I haven't watched that in a minute.
Okay, let's do this right here.
Next?
Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back, we said Scandal Tuesday. We got so many others to get into. The NCAA is going through a huge scandal where it's been told that they're paying players. They paid Dennis Smith Jr. $73,000 to come to the school. So they're paying players to, it's like it's a huge.
And then the wiretap the phone call.
Yes. They wiretapped the phone call of one of the coaches, and it was like, okay,
$100,000.
Yeah, $100,000. Yes, it's like, and they're big schools too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like we're talking about Alabama. We're talking about some huge schools.
Alabama's included.
Yeah, we're talking about some big schools to where this will affect the tournament.
Oh wait!
Now, what you do is you play this whole thing out to where where OU might. Well, I hadn't seen the OU name.
Okay, come on, OU don't.
But you play well. You got Barry Switzer, so that was their scandal.
You leave my son alone.
But the big thing is that all these huge schools that are supposed to be going to the tournament. I mean, NCAA could. I mean, the FBI could say, "Let's shut this thing down."
They could apply some sanctions on them.
Exactly. Are we looking at another death penalty?
Can we just play sports? Doggone it.
Well, playing it is money too.
Can we just watch sports and enjoy sports like we did back in the day?
Back in the day,
I'm just tired of all of this interference with all this other stuff. Just leave it alone.
It's a part of the matrix of college football, college basketball, college football.
Man.
It's been going on for so long. Now and the problem is this right here. Why is the FBI getting involved?
It's a good question.
That's what they do.
No.
Instead of searching for these doggone kids with these these AR-15s?
No, not on.
Talking about you want to arm some teachers at school.
Not on college. This is a college scandal that's going directly to the FBI because it's affecting the game.
FBI needs to focus on some more important things like getting the guns out these hands of these kids.
I'm not saying what they need to do because I don't need them calling my house.
They call the house all day long. I'm going to tell them just like I just said. They need to get the guns out these kids' hands. Yes. FBI, I'm talking to you.
I'm saying that.
You got more important things to focus on than sports.
Okay, well
our kids are dying out here over some bull.
When we think of the FBI, we think about Fed stuff. So with what we're talking about, can you think of anything related to, is this Fed kind of stuff? Federal time.
This is federal. I mean, you talking about $100,000,
$73,000.
You talking about some dollars that are going to some kids to come play for school. That's anything over $10,000 is Fed.
Mm-hmm.
We talking about $100,000.
I understand.
$73,000.
There you go.
But they overlooking that other stuff.
Well, I mean, they not overlooking this stuff.
These are our future that are dying and being killed.
But this,
they could be future presidents.
This
and they don't have a chance to explore that.
This whole thing is going to spread like wildfire because I guarantee you there are more schools out there.
Mm-hmm.
Villanova,
sure.
They just haven't got called.
Duke.
They got Villanova, Duke. I bet you. It's about, I read about at least 12 or 13 schools that are part of this. Florida State.
UCLA?
I think UCLA is a part of it. It's a lot of schools that are part of this.
Wow.
Yes,
hey, Tyrone.
It's huge. It's huge.
Tyrone.
Okay. So that's something we're gonna have to take a look at a little bit further. Coming up, we do have 4 quarters.
Yes.
Okay, we have 4 quarters coming up. we're gonna take a break, but we have the entertainment segment coming up. We're gonna see how good she does. We all just gonna be quiet and let her talk.
No. I enjoyed the sports, and I joined you, so you're gonna join me.
We have a
this is not one woman show.
Entertainment segment coming up.
Even though we run the world.
Again, this is 411 Sports Talk Radio on 411RadioNetwork.com. We will after she finishes giving her rendition of Wakanda Forever. We'll be right back.
Let's roll.
All right.
What in the world?
What's that? Is that? All right.
All right, we're coming back in 3 minutes. I just shared it.
Lord have mercy.
I got some of those stuff.
I've been told you that 15 times.
I got some of those stuff.
I feel you. They haven't been able to really post stuff like I normally do. I gotta use this. I'm used to doing all this.
Jawar, we're going to do the entertainment segment.
Okay.
She say segment. If you want to jump in, feel free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you want to jump in. You think you don't want to jump in?
You want my mic ready?
Yeah, I got to get your mic ready.
I'm over here myself.
I can get your mic ready. Grab that mic stand.
What happened?
know?
I don't know. No.
It ain't gonna hurt.
Ain't nothing to be shy about.
Yeah.
Okay.
You sure? We don't want to pressure you now.
Let me just watch the movie.
Okay.
You leave this up there?
No, put it down.
Put that? Okay.
All right, y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. We're back. We're back in full effect. This is 411 Sports Talk Radio on ForumRadioNetwork.com. We are now at the hour of power, the time of need, the time that we need to get off this sports and get into something different.
Our security power.
Oh,
The hour of security power. There you go. There you go. This is the hour of security power.
Security power.
And
I like that.
security is now on.
That's the name of the segment. Our security power.
I don't even know where to start. I appreciate being here.
I know where you can start.
Where can I start?
You have to let the audience know how you came up with the word security. How someone came up with the nickname security and why were you named that.
Okay.
I don't know if it was
This
Cedric.
is entertainment.
I don't know if it was Cedric or one
It was
Dante
Dante.
West.
It was Dante.
It was Dante.
Okay, he's not here, so I'm
It
gonna
was
let you
Dante.
slide.
Okay.
I
So you know the
He
full
might
answer.
call in and correct me.
Yeah.
But I think I remember exactly when he started calling me security. And I hated it at first.
We were at 4-1. We was at another.
Excuse me. This is my segment.
Yes, I said.
Okay.
So go ahead.
I'm kidding. You can say it if you want to.
No, you go ahead. You
Okay.
got the mic now.
I have to give you your respect and, you know.
So let's start off with your introduction, how you came up with security and why
Why was security?
you were given that.
Tyrone talking about who the new lady in the middle is security.
Security.
Oh, okay, so were we still at the place in Oak Cliff? Or?
Yeah, we were on Cliff.
We were in the very first place that we had the radio show.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were playing some music and it was a little raunchy and it had, you know, some curse words and some other, you know, words that I was not it was very explicit. And so I was like, you know, can we get some clean music? Can we get some radio edited version music? So I would say that every time we had the show because they would keep playing this music. And so Dante was like, you got security over there. She gonna make sure you got this music right. Yeah, that she over there talking about this music again. You better get that music right. He was teasing Cedric. And then he just started calling me security. It just kind of stuck. So even when I wasn't there and I would be listening to the show, I've always, you know, listened to the show, I'm supporting him. And as soon as they would go to break and play some music, I'd be like, make sure it's clean.
Yeah.
Make sure it's clean. And Dante's like, is security listening?
You know you can't say nothing. Security gonna
Can't say
say
nothing because security is watching.
Security watching, yeah.
I was like, stop calling me that. I don't want to be called security. He's like, you security.
So you've been security ever since.
I've been security ever since. He would not let me live it down. You know, I laxed up a little bit, you know, because at first I was just like, you know, play gospel music or something. And he was like, no, we're going to play some music. I said, just make sure it's the clean radio edited version. Please, please. I don't want to hear about women's parts and, you know, all this stuff. I don't want to hear that. Women don't want to hear that. And we don't want to be called, you know, hoes and sluts and bees and all that stuff. We just don't. Some women do.
Even though they make a
Girls
song
do.
about themselves all the time.
Right.
Yeah,
But I didn't want to hear it. And I felt like, you know, we needed to have a show that was uplifting and, you know, a good representation of us in the media. So, you know, every radio station plays all that smut and stuff. And I just thought that we could be different.
All right.
And still be powerful.
Okay.
Girl power.
All right. Having said that, we're back to the entertainment segment.
Okay, so Bench Warmer laid out my
Speaking of girl power
area. So yes, speaking of girl power, so in the latest edition of 411 Sports, the publication, I was asked to write about notable Black women in entertainment, notable African American women in entertainment. So I went through and I was researching and I found 70, and I know there's plenty more, but it was really hard for me to break it down because I wanted to put all 70 in here, but somebody cut me off and told me I could only do 25, so that's what I ended up doing.
Limits.
Because at 25, I was already at like 2,000 words. So yeah, I had to cut it down because normally my articles are like, what, 1,000?
Yeah,
so I doubled up.
Yeah,
But some of the notable African American women that I found were Hattie McDaniel. You guys remember Hattie McDaniel was in Gone with the Wind. But she also...
She's the ultimate maid.
Yeah, she was the ultimate maid, but she also was a radio personality, and she won an Oscar for that. She was the first African American woman on the radio. Hattie McDaniel. And then, of course, we all know Josephine Baker. I love Josephine Baker.
I love the movie.
I bet you do.
I mean,
see, that's that sexual harassment right there.
No, I like the movie.
If Josephine Baker was here, he'd have been in trouble.
No, I like the movie. I like the fact that she, although it was crazy that she adopted like 1,200 kids.
I know.
That made no sense.
But she had a good heart. She had a good heart. So I liked Josephine Baker. I liked her spirit. I liked her passion about what she did. Maya Angelou is my favorite of all time. I love her.
I Still Rise, isn't that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Still I Rise.
Still I Rise.
Still I Rise.
Yeah.
No, the best poem ever, and I wish I could say it. Phenomenal Woman. Man,
God.
That is powerful.
So is Cynthia Marshall on this list too?
No, she's not.
She might be.
But she gonna be on there soon because she is making history.
Okay.
Diane Carroll was another one, and it was so funny. We were on our Marco Polo with our family, and we were talking about lookalikes. And my uncle said that that I reminded him of Diane Carroll when she first came out and she played in a show called was it Joanne or something with a J? I never saw the show before, but I went and looked up the picture to see and make sure because. He's getting older. And I love you, Uncle Beeper. But I wasn't sure because looking at her in Dynasty, I didn't look like her in Dynasty. I always wanted to. But anyway, so Diane Carroll. And then Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul.
How did she become the Queen of Soul?
Because she was the Queen of Soul. Can't nobody.
Just as she did respect, she the Queen of Soul.
Can't nobody beat Riri. Can't nobody beat her.
Okay.
Except for when she came out, what was it, President Obama's thing, and she on that blue outfit looked like Big Bird in reverse.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
I was like, who is her stylist today? I love you, Riri, but somebody need to help her with that.
She's not getting royalties.
Okay, so the next one was Marian Anderson. Do you know who that was?
I do know who that is. Opera singer. She was She was the first lady. African American lady singer that I remember back when I was in the 70s. She was one of the first.
She was the first African American to sing at the Metropolitan Opera House.
And then she sang at Carnegie Hall also?
Yes, she did.
Yeah. I know my history.
Yes. Sylvia Robinson. Do you know who Sylvia Robinson is?
Isn't that
Are we looking at my notes?
No. Isn't that Rapper's Delight? She came out with Sugar Hill Gang.
You already read it.
No. I actually knew her. She actually, there's a song that she sings that I actually play on the radio.
What's that?
I forget the name of it. But we actually played on our station.
Love is Strange.
No, not that one right there. It's another song.
The Message?
Not the Message is Sugar Hill Gang.
Oh, I don't know.
That's Grandmaster Flash, The Message.
I didn't know who she was till I saw this.
Yeah, but she
Rapper's Delight fan.
She owned She owned it wasn't Sugar Hill Gang. It was what was the record label? The record label was
it was Sugar Hill Records.
Sugar Hill Records, yeah.
Yeah.
She owned that, and that's where Sugar Hill Gang did their thing.
Okay, so number 8 was Blanche Calloway. Do you know who Blanche Calloway was?
I'm thinking Golden Girls. Blanche on Golden Girls.
No, Oh, Phyllis said Diane Carroll was Julia. See, I knew it started
Julia.
with the J.
Okay.
But my uncle said that I looked like Diane Carroll, or I remind him of Diane Carroll in Julia. And I think she was a maid. What was she, Phyllis? Because I've still not
She
seen
was
the
probably
show
a
per
maid.
se.
Well, no, she wouldn't have been. Not Diane Carroll wouldn't have played a maid.
I don't know. Well, back in the day, she might have.
No,
Because they had limited roles for
Yeah,
African
but
American women.
She would have played a maid.
They did. She might have. You never know. As a matter of fact, I got the bench warmer to watch The Help this weekend. Is that okay for me to say that?
No.
Sorry. He watched The Help with me this weekend. It was good, and he liked it.
It was
Especially
pretty
Two
good.
Slice. What was it? What was her name?
I don't remember. It was
Two Slice Hilly.
Two Slice Hilly. Yeah. Two Slice Hilly.
He liked that part.
Yeah, it was. Have you seen The Help before?
Yeah.
That was
a good
one. Yeah, that was
movie.
good. Yeah.
It was a good movie. Okay, so Blanche Calloway was the first woman to lead an all-male orchestra as a band leader.
Wow.
And you know, when I heard her name, I thought about Cab Calloway. I don't know if they're related. Let's see. She's the older sister
Of Cab
of
Calloway?
Cab Calloway.
Wow,
Now, see, I
okay.
copied and pasted, didn't read it.
No. See, don't tell me.
I am telling the truth. Okay, so yeah, she is Cab Calloway's older sister.
Okay.
And she was the first African American to. Yes, I love that song. Okay, number 9 is Sister Rosetta Thorpe.
Who was that?
She was known as the godmother of rock and roll.
Oh, okay.
And
Chuck
she
Berry.
influenced musicians such as Chuck Berry, Little
Ah,
Richard,
Chuck Berry,
and
okay.
Johnny Cash.
Okay.
Yep. So that was number 9. And then number 10, if I can get to my page over here.
Page 19.
Page 19, yes, thank you. Thank you, Bitch Woman, you're wonderful. Number 10 was Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt.
Oh, yeah.
Catwoman, yeah.
Yeah, we all know her as Catwoman. Catwoman.
Marcus.
Yes.
Marcus. I don't have any back teeth.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. That's our little secret.
Wow.
You're not supposed to tell anybody.
Eddie Murphy did that, didn't he?
Yeah, buddy. I didn't do that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. The lights went out. Come on now. You was trying to get a position.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it turns out that you only let me do 11 people.
Okay, wait.
So, anyway, number 11 was Gladys Bentley. You know who that is?
No, she was gay.
Yeah, she was a lesbian. Say it right. Be politically correct.
She was a lesbian.
She was a lesbian blues singer during the Harlem Renaissance.
She played for the other team.
Boy.
She played-
Anyway, so what's going to happen is we did these, I listed these ladies, and we are going to go through all 50 of them, possibly 70, throughout the years. We're going to pick some out, and we're going to choose from those, and we're going to do some stories
All right.
on them. And then in the next issue, we're going to do notable African-American males in entertainment.
Absolutely.
So that's the next issue. So I'll be looking out for that on Thursday,
All right.
I believe. Okay. So that's that part right there. And he said that I could do...
He say, she say. It's back for another round.
Yay! I love he say, she say, y'all. It's my favorite part. Okay.
Submission.
And bench warm, I'm just going to let me preface this, as he says, preference.
Okay.
Preface this, that the bench warmer chose this subject of submission.
Okay. Key point.
Give us the key point that we are to discuss tonight.
Okay, so he said.
Ready,
she
everybody?
Said, he said, she said. The question is, what is the definition of submission from a man's standpoint? And what is the definition of submission from a woman's standpoint?
Say it again.
What is the definition of submission from a man's standpoint? And what is the definition of submission from a woman's standpoint?
Okay. The definition of submission from a woman's standpoint and the definition. And since you came up with this question,
I'm not the first.
Come on now. Come on.
I was trying to see if you need some help.
Now, I don't need no help, but I welcome the help.
Did you want to come in and step in and
We have a guest in the studio.
right, help talk about this
Her
conversation?
name is Tawana.
Yeah.
You
And
do.
her company name is?
Tawana.
The Oaks of, yeah, well, you can just
Now, what's your company name?
The Oaks of Righteousness Cancer Foundation.
Yes,
The Oaks of Righteousness Cancer Foundation out of Atlanta.
Out of Atlanta.
Awesome.
Would you like to come in and sit in?
She said, no,
All right. Yeah,
don't
she
be
is.
forcing people.
I'm not forcing. She's gonna come on in and
All
we got
right.
a mic for her. And we're gonna plug
You
her
want
up.
her to sit here?
Yes,
or-
sit on this side over here. Well, do we need we got a chair for her? We don't have a chair for her.
Should have went to break things for her.
Yeah, we should have gone to break, but that's okay.
It's okay.
No,
We're impromptu. We're impromptu. If you want to, you can. I think this stretches. Will you take this to Miss Tawana?
Okay.
To her.
All right.
You can stand right there.
There you go.
There you go.
Bring her on. Bring her on.
Come on, you can come right here. Stand
There you
next
go.
to.
So
There we go.
So the topic is submission,
Come on over here so you can get
and
this right.
the question is, what is the definition from a man's standpoint? What's the definition from a woman's standpoint? So the question is, who wants to go first? I'm always last. It's he said, she said, so it's got to be a he first. Lewis.
You the instigator. You have to start.
No, I can't. I always got to be last.
No, Lewis is usually last. Don't be trying to change stuff. You brought it up. Don't be trying to change things now, mister. You usually like to go first.
Oh, so my definition, do what the hell I tell you to do. That's
No. We're not wrong like that.
Y'all gonna have benchwarmer teeth gonna be on the floor in a minute.
Okay, so
We don't have that kind of violence in our house.
not that kind, but another kind, right?
You better stop telling.
All right,
You know
all
what?
right.
I'm not gonna be on the show
That
with you no
sounds
more.
like 50 Shades.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
60.
I'm not gonna be on the show with you if you tell our bedroom business.
We got more shades.
Stop it.
Okay, so my definition of submission. Submit. Okay, because in the Bible it says women are to submit to their own husbands, their own, not other people's husbands, and men are to respect their wives. Okay, so my definition of submit is it's not necessarily a thing that you command. It's a thing that you that you bring about through respect. So, and the thing about submitting is it's not like if I tell you to do something, you do it. The thing about for me with submitting is that when you see me work as hard as I'm working and doing the things I'm doing for the family, as hard as I'm doing for the family, then for me to ask you to do something should not be an issue. As long as you see me working. Now the submit, it didn't say submit if, it said submit. And so we get that twisted. We think, well, he ain't doing A, B, and C, so why I gotta submit? It doesn't say submit if, it says submit. So I'm gonna leave it there because I have more to say, so let's keep it going.
Submit. And
What's
it
your mic
should, sorry about that. It shouldn't be a different definition for male versus female. It should be just one biblical understanding of what submission is between a husband and wife, because at the end of the day, you picked each other. You're co-laborers in this thing called life. So submission should not be an anger point or a trigger point when we're saying a woman should submit to her husband. I submitted to my husband, but that didn't mean that I did not have a voice. I had a voice. I did a lot of research. I did a lot of things to help him also make a better decision for our household. So I believe that, I don't see anything wrong with submission.
Okay, it's interesting that you say that, is you have a voice, because I think the greater submitter of the submission is that of the man that actually works for I'm not gonna say the word works for the wife, but does a lot of things for the wife. So then that when that thing turns itself back around, it's easier for her to do, the things that, and I don't want to say the word that her job or her responsibility as a wife is, because a man has responsibility to the household and a woman has responsibility to the household. It's hard for a woman to deal with her responsibility when he's not doing his responsibility. And so if he's taking care of his responsibility, it should be an easier thing for her to take care of her responsibility. And it's not necessarily one of those things where you do, or the man is demanding. He can demand by, and it's not necessarily the word demand, but he can get what he needs with action. And the action is that he's taking care of his end of the rope, and it does take two to tango, but he's got to take care of his first before he can get her to do anything. Am I saying that? Anybody want to jump in?
I'm listening.
Yeah, Lewis, he gonna take us all in, and he gonna come up with his solution.
Right.
But he already has in his mind what's gonna do, but he's gonna culminate and bring everybody together.
So what do you have to say?
Okay, so to me, biblically sound submission is one of course, is to submit to one another in love. And I believe that just like what you were saying, if you are loving one another and you're not demanding of one another to do your job or your role as a husband or a wife, it's easy to submit to someone in love in that area. But reality is not everyone has a relationship that is loving and respectful. And I go back to the Bible where God commands the husband to love his wife as he loves himself. And the wife is to reverence her husband and respect her husband regardless. And so if we are doing those two things, loving and respecting one another, submission comes easy. And it doesn't have to be a demand. It's just a love and respect. And it's easy to allow the man to be the leader in the home. It allows you to relax and let him lead and take charge. But he doesn't do it in such a way that is bossy or demanding. It's just you reverence him because he loves you. It's a give or take in a marriage. It takes time. We've learned over the years in our marriage that that's just, if we go back to those two things, love and respect, submission comes easy.
Mm-hmm. It's there's a story that's going around where a man and woman was married, and the man had rules. Mm-hmm. So he had told his wife, "This is what I want. This is what I want." So she wrote all the particular rules down that he wanted.
That he demanded.
Yeah, he demanded, and she despised.
Mm-hmm. She
everything.
did it begrudgingly. I'm sorry.
She despised.
Our pastor told us this story.
She despised everything that was written down. Mm-hmm. Well, eventually he passed away. She wound up getting married, and she kind of took the list and kind of threw away. She wound up getting remarried again, and found herself doing those things, but she was doing it willingly. And then one day she looked in her drawer and saw this list and realized that she was doing everything on that list, but she did it lovingly because of who he was.
Mm-hmm. He loved her.
Yeah, and
he didn't demand of her.
And submission is not a rule. Mm-hmm. It's not a law. Mm-hmm. When you live in a marriage based off of law and rules, you're in a bad marriage. If it's all about laws and rules and you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do this, we're supposed to do this, got to be done on this day, then it's a bad marriage. If you get in a marriage where it becomes natural, mm-hmm. the things that you do become natural, then you're in a good marriage.
Mm-hmm. And we had a friend of ours that posted something on Facebook, or he asked the question, are husband and wife supposed to make each other happy in the marriage? And a lot of people were saying, yes, you're supposed to make each other happy, so on and so forth. But our pastor told us point blank, you're not here to make each other happy. You're here to do what God told you to do, which is love and respect one another. And then everything else falls into place after that.
Add to happiness.
Yeah. It will lead to happiness. It will lead to joy. But your joy and happiness, you cannot be dependent upon any person for that. You have to just... What was that? Oh.
No, we're clearing our throat.
Oh.
but let's hear from any...
My further comment is when you do everything unto God, mm-hmm. instead of looking at persons, even when you think about your job or anything, if you do everything unto God, then mm-hmm. you want to please God, it's going to all work out.
Right.
You're standing in total spiritual agreement with mm-hmm. God. Now, there's a Christian writer called Sam Wigglesmith, something like that. But before he became such a powerful Christian writer, he put his wife through some unbelievable things. And he told her, if you leave out the house, I'm going to lock you out. Ooh. And he literally locked her out. She slept in the garage.
Wow. He
was really mean-spirited, but I don't know if I could be as she was, but she slept in the garage. When he finally opened the door that morning, she said, "Good morning, what would you like for breakfast?" He said at that point, that turned everything around. He submitted and gave his life over to God, and has been writing ever since. Wow. So when we can focus on doing everything unto God, that is a great place to be. That eliminate all the check marks and if this is this and regulations. No.
Interesting that you tell us. Interesting that you tell us story.
Comments.
All right.
Let's read our audience comments. Do you mind?
Can I do that? I gotta.
Oh, go.
Yeah. Interesting that you tell that story is something within that story that I don't know if anybody's picking up on. He put her out the house. She left the house. He locked the door. She slept in the garage. When he finally opened the door, she came in and said, "What do you want for breakfast?"
Good morning.
Good morning. What do you want for breakfast? He then immediately changed his life.
Yes.
She did not have to cuss him out. Nope. She didn't have to argue with him. She didn't have to. Her silence, and the word talks about a woman's silence can woo any man. But we
her
have
gentle spirit.
But we have so many women out there or ladies out there that feel like they got to argue, fuss, fight, cuss, do whatever to get him to be right.
Because some of that is generational stuff as well.
Yes.
Some of us weren't taught that. Some of us didn't see a good marriage with a loving relationship where it came natural.
But the word, if you really truly say the word, then you do see it, because the word shows it. If men are hell bound by or hell bent by following the word, love your wife as Christ also loved the church. You know what that means? Guess what? He died for the church, so I need you to die for me. I need you to go out there and get hit by a car for me. We're hell bent on that right there. But you guys know, but women are hell bent on silence. You can win. You can win your husband over.
You know what?
Shut up sometime.
No. Okay, we're going to shut you down right now because you're going a little too far. We're going to read our audience comments now, Mr. Lyons, bench warmer. We're going to read our audience comments. Would you like to read them? No. We're going to do that. Okay, so Erica, let's see. Byron says, remember God's order. And he also says, everybody has a role to play. Love your wife as yourself and put God first. Erica said there's such a thin line between control and natural submission. Amen to that. That's what that's the word that I was looking for, was control. You don't want to control your spouse by giving them rules and regulations. You want it to come natural. You want your husband to do for you because he wants to do for you. Not because you're making him do it, or like Lewis said on another show, nagging him to death.
She was listening.
Oh, that show was off the chain. Oh my gosh, I wish I had. I might have to go back and listen to part 2. So Erica says, my ex-husband said that I was not submissive. His idea of submission was obey me, do as I say, let me make all of the decisions, and don't voice any rebuttals. Oh no,
that's not submission.
That's not submission.
That's not what God.
No, that's
control. That's exactly
control.
what you said. It was control.
That's control.
And Gwen said to tell Cedric he looks old even on camera. Oh wow! I love you, Gwen. I miss you. It's your fault I'm up here. Okay, you know that, right? And then she says it's tit for tat.
Tell her I don't like her.
And Cedric says he doesn't like you, but she's watching, so you can tell her yourself. And Phyllis says submit is a verb. You have to show your companion the love that is commanded by God from the heart. The man.
From the head.
From the head, the man. Okay, when a man submits to God, then the rest will fall in line. Submission should not be a conflict. It is a show of respect and love. Exactly.
Stop right there.
Respect and
No,
love.
stop right there. Stop right there. I disagree with that.
Okay. Why?
Because when a man falls in line with God, God gives everybody choice. You have free will to do what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Just because that man falls in line does not mean that woman's going to fall in line with him, because that woman may have the opportunity to do what she wants to do. If she does not like that man, if they got into a marriage and she decides, I don't really like this man at all, I am not going to fall in line just because he falls in line.
You're not falling in line right now.
She will find so many things, so many different things that tells her that she doesn't have to. So no, when God gives a woman, I'm gonna go back to this to the day I die. When God told Adam, this is what I want you to do. The A, B, and C. Adam was in line with God. Adam did not change his line with God. He was in line with God. He spoke, walked, and talked with God. He said, Eve, we cannot eat of that tree.
Don't go there.
We can't do that. We just can't do it. So that was the line. He was in line with God. Eve decided, man, maybe we can. Let me go listen to somebody else. So Adam and Eve arguing back and forth. Let me go listen to somebody else. And Eve took that. She got out of line because God gives her free will. God gave Eve free will.
Okay.
She had the will and she did exactly what she wanted to do, even though it went against what Adam told her to do. Mm-hmm. She ate the apple. Now let me ask you a question, panel. Mm-hmm. What if Adam had never ate the apple? Because remember, the Bible says the moment he ate the apple,
all the time.
The moment he ate the apple or the fruit, that's when sin was brought about.
Disobedience.
Mm-hmm.
What if he never ate the fruit, but she did?
That's a good question.
Sin was not brought about.
I say it every time he brings it up.
Sin was not brought about when she ate it. It was brought about when he ate it.
Immediately when Adam ate it, sin came into the world.
It was brought about.
Mm-hmm.
We all.
If you notice in the Bible, it says that.
I have a little. Well, that's another subject. People tend to. Tend to.
We got a call.
Oh, we got a call.
Yay!
Yeah, we got a call.
It's my Gwen. It's my Desiree.
I'll leave for 2 seconds. And the bench warmer think he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, Phyllis said, "Do you submit to your wife, bench warmer?"
No, I'm not supposed to submit.
It says submit to one another, honey. Yes, you do.
I didn't read that part.
Nah.
What's going on, Desiree?
Hey, what's going on?
What's happening?
Hi, honey.
I already missed you guys.
I miss you too. It's your fault.
I just had to call in to say that the bench warmer never knows what he's talking about. Don't listen to him.
Thank you very much.
I
knew I had backup somewhere.
I thought I was making some good points.
Listen, I'll tell you the one thing about marriage that people fail to realize is most of the time people get married hoping that it's going to be better. The spouse never showed them that it would be different. This person never showed them that they wanted to be anything different. We just all get married hoping that the person's going to be better.
Right.
So what happens is you get in and you're miserable and you don't want to leave because you've made this lifetime commitment. You don't want to do what you're supposed to do as a wife because you really don't like him. And as a husband, vice versa. So FYI, been woman, I'm going to call occasionally because I'm watching you.
Watch it, girl. Keep a close eye on him for me.
I'm scared now.
I love you. I miss you.
I love you too. I'll pop in on you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
But you're doing.
Look, I had a new camera and everything to take pictures of you guys.
Taking pictures with you guys.
You know what?
Okay. The show is not complete without
We'll
that.
talk about that offline.
Right.
Hey, Tawana, you doing?
Hey, beautiful. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Okay, I'm gonna go watch.
All right.
Thank you, honey.
Talk
to you later.
I love you.
All right.
Okay,
That
so
is true.
we have some more comments.
Okay, let's read them.
Okay, I want to hear your answer to what Phyllis asked. Bench warmer, do you submit to your wife?
Oh Lord.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Let's see if the answer is the same.
All the time.
Well, there you have it. That's the answer.
All the time.
See the smile.
And she knows it. Even when I don't want to.
You know what?
Anyway.
I'm speechless.
So
B says, you take it away.
Yeah, so B says that's because Satan doesn't want the marriage to stay together. So said, if that man is in God's word and the woman is in God's word, guess what? Everything will line up. I agree to a certain extent.
Tyrone said good answer.
No, I'm gonna tell you, because that extent is, are both of them on the same page?
Right.
Because if they're not on the same page, you can be in God's word, but on a totally different page. If that woman, this is where submission comes, if that woman is not following her husband as the head of the household, she's on her own agenda, then she can be in God's word, but she's not on that page. So that means that she's really not in God's word, and she might think,
well,
I submitted today.
Well, I have a different spin on that, or different perspective.
I'm here.
Here it is.
I'm getting ready to get
Come
kicked
on
off.
now. Come on.
I don't totally agree with that. Now, you can have both in the Word of God, but not on the same spiritual maturity.
Exactly.
So the wife may, if she is spiritually more mature than her husband, which may be at a spiritual infant or young adult, and she's at a spiritual parent where she is bringing others unto God.
She's
unto
on the
Christ,
meat and he's on the milk.
Exactly. Then she will have to come back and circle around, and if staying within the Word of God, he should be able to receive that word because it is from God.
Let's flip the script though.
Okay.
You just
I like you.
Oh,
you
need to come back.
You just put it as if she's more spiritually sound than he is.
You can be.
No. What if he's more spiritually sound than she is? What if he's more not on the milk? She's on the milk and he's on the meat. If she's on the milk and he's on the meat, and she, I know that
It sounded better coming from me, right?
I shouldn't have responded like that. I should have kept that here.
That didn't sound right.
You gotta always twist stuff.
I'm sorry, my bad.
It was so clean before Bitch Woman said it. We didn't laugh, we didn't cry, we didn't say nothing when I
said it. That was a natural reaction of mine. I'm
it's
sorry.
the way he said stuff.
What are you doing on the meat?
See?
Let's keep moving, please. Let's keep moving.
You're gonna take up my whole hour. Come on now.
Come on.
Is he playing for the other team now?
Oh Lord, there you go.
Anyway, but
Byron says she needs to submit to God first, just like the man does.
She and that's correct. If I'm saying this right here, if the man is more spiritually has a more spiritual foundation than the woman, sometimes a woman's nature, and it says this in the Bible, that a woman wants to take on that man's role. That's one of the curses that he gave Eve, is that she's going to want his role. She's going to want to be the head. And so because part of her nature says that she's going to want to do that. And even if he is more spiritually sound, she may not roll that route. She might say, well, I know too. I can read too. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Bible and I'm going to use it for me and not necessarily roll what you're talking about. Because here's an example about submission we talk about. You pay your bills one way, your husband pays the bills the other way. Okay? So you're used to paying bills this way, he's used to paying bills this way. When you guys come together, who's going to direct how you pay bills? And let's say both of them are good with money. Who's going to be the director of how we pay bills? Who's going to have the final say of how we pay bills? Submission says that, the head of the household has the final say. Because I'll say this all the time. If Jesus were to walk into your house and he sees the kids over here doing one thing, he sees the wife over here doing another thing, he sees the husband back here working and everything, but the house is chaotic. Is Jesus going to stop at the wife? No. Is he going to stop at the kids? No. He's going to go to that man and ask that man, what the heck is going on here? Because it's chaotic. That man has got to answer that question. Because that's what he did when God came on earth. He said, Adam, where are you? Mm-hmm. What's going on, Adam?
Yes.
So when you talk of submission, the job, the responsibility of the man is to one, get his wife on the same page as he is. If he can't do that, then his responsibility needs to go to God and say, God, I am trying. I need you to help me get on my page.
Okay, I have something to say to that. But Tyrone said, whoever has the most money has the final say so. Tyrone, boy.
Somebody's
Now,
Tyrone.
Let me tell you.
You better call.
I have a caveat to what Mr. Benchwarmer said over here about
but you
that
can't
part.
use my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because when can I tell our story about a little bit of our story when we went in to see Pastor Evan?
Hell no. I mean.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so being respectful.
I just said no. She said, okay. So here's the story.
Being respectful. When we went in, we're married. We've been married a long time, and all marriages are not perfect. So we saw an area that we needed to discuss, and we went into our pastor, and we were talking about our finances because, like Cedric said, sometimes you have a certain way that you do things in the other person, and when you guys are coming together, you have to learn how to manage that together. And the Bible requires us to be good stewards of what He's given us. So our pastor told us to not only submit to one another, but whoever is the better financial manager is the one that manages the funds. So it's not necessarily that the man has the final say-so in how those finances are managed. You still have to discuss and see who the better person is in managing it. And then, of course, yes, he does have the final say, but if the woman is the better manager of the finances, then the husband can say, okay, babe, you take care of that because he's going to make sure that his household is not in chaos. If the husband doesn't have time to manage the finances or whatever the case may be, woman can't.
If the husband is Mark Cuban, then he needs to go get a woman, Cynthia Marshall.
Yeah, the woman can be the person to manage certain things in the household. She cannot, she still has to discuss those things. They still need to discuss those things together. But the husband can say, okay, honey, you are responsible for this part of our household management, et cetera, et cetera. So there are roles that are designated, so to speak, and then there are roles that need to be discussed. And everyone's household is different. Everybody's household is not going to have the husband managing the finances. It may be the wife. So, yeah.
I agree.
But, yeah, back to submission.
I agree. But that's part of
to you.
Yeah. That's part of submission. That's part of submission is recognizing where you have strengths and where you have weaknesses or challenges, not weaknesses. We were told to say strengths and challenges in areas of growth, never weaknesses.
My sister said it best.
Okay.
So, all right, so we're gonna wrap this up with.
Thank you.
We'll wrap this up with.
Come on, Professor, give it to us.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Give it to us.
Did I have any good points around?
You did.
You hit on a lot of them.
Okay, good.
You were wonderful.
All of y'all did.
You were wonderful.
All of y'all did.
Except I still look old on camera.
Who said that?
Gwen said.
I'm so sorry.
How do you feel about
Come over
that?
here and put
I
some
meant to
makeup
ask you,
on
when she called you old on camera and she looked at you in the face here, and now she said out
Some
there,
makeup on you.
what's your response to that?
She needs to submit.
Submit to that.
She submitted
We'll figure that out later.
Wow.
I had a story about submission, but I'll save that for another day. I have a real quick story.
Say that for another day. Go ahead.
Yeah, because it might.
No, seriously, I'm not going to take up too much time. We only got 15 minutes. I've been married twice. I'll put that out there. First marriage was for 8 years.
My daughter's watching me.
I had, I was the one that, filed for divorce.
Did you submit?
Yes. It was hard.
Yeah.
To me, submission means a natural response to love and leadership with the understanding of being humble. That's my definition of submission.
Say it again. A natural response.
A natural response to loving leadership with the understanding of being humble.
Preach, preacher.
Yes.
Don't start that.
We're gonna rewind this.
The natural response of loving.
Submission is a natural response. A natural response to loving leadership.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
But it works only with the obedience of being humble. Because if you're not humble and trying to submit, it's not going to work.
You're going to force everything.
It's not going to work. Now, the Bible does say that it commands a woman to submit to her husband only because she loves Jesus.
As unto the Lord.
That's the only reason why she submits to her husband in the first place.
So if she don't submit, she don't love Jesus.
I'm going to say this. The wife will not submit to a man who's been unlawful and abusive.
Right, I agree.
Which is not in God's plan in the first place.
Right.
We got to understand. We got to understand that submission is only because you love Jesus and you understand God's plan for you.
Right.
As long as we get that out the way, then submission will come easy.
Exactly. It
But
comes natural.
If we go into the world's way of submission, there's going to be a fight in the marriage. It's something going to go down, and that's our main problem in marriages today. Is we hear all this mess, all this yada yada in the street. What you doing? Listening
Make
to him?
me happy.
And that's when the enemy starts sneaking into your house. You get the nose, and you give him a crack. He gonna spread it to
Oh
a mind.
my gosh, yes.
But
Yes.
not to be long-winded, because I get long-winded about this. But that's my definition of being
That's a good
submissive.
definition, Professor. That is excellent.
And to give an example is
He done broke out the Bible and everything.
basically
That's where it comes from.
my wife understands I'm the head of the household, but she is over our finances. Now ask me why that's the case.
Because you bad with money.
Because I told her to.
Okay. Because
she understood that I gave her direction to be over head of our finance because I trust her and because I know she loves Jesus. I know good and well she ain't gonna do nothing to get us in a position that
you still orchestrated that, so it's not like
I'm still looking at how she's spending it, but she's playing that role. I assigned her that role.
And that's about, and that's the best thing about being a head is that you don't have to do everything. You can assign.
Delegate.
You can delegate. In certain situations, you can delegate and say, okay, this is your area. This is what you. So you just back off.
Right.
You know, to me, I think to be to get the greatest submission is to do the work. You know, if you are, I've always said the greatest leader was a great follower.
And a great servant.
You can't be a great leader without learning how to follow, learning how to serve. And if you can, I mean, you look at Jesus Christ, who was the greatest leader of us all. But Jesus Christ did a lot of serving. He washed feet. You know, he was born in a manger. He took himself down and became one of us. Matter of fact, not only just one of us, the least of the jobs we'd ever want to do. You know, and through that he learned, he taught, you know, but he was a great leader though, because he learned how to be a servant and a follower.
Yes.
And in submission, as a man, as a husband, if you're not a great follower or a great servant, you're never going to be a great leader, because you're going to take that whole Heil Hitler thing and say, I'm running, y'all do exactly what I told you to do, and but no one's going to adapt to what you're saying. Just like a coach, they've got to believe in the process. If a coach is out there coaching, no one believes in what he's trying to do. Guess what? You got a sorry team. But if I believe in the process, then I'm going to work. I'm going to play for that coach.
Right.
So men out there, how many of your wives are wanting to play for you? Because if they don't want to play for you, then you might want to check yourself.
That's really good. I do.
This is our bitch woman over here. I'm
do.
blushing. That's my husband.
Yes.
I do want to touch on one comment Byron Stanley mentioned about everyone has a role to play. That's a good point, because when he said that, it reminded me of what I just said just a second ago. What if the husband is abusive? What if the husband is being unlawful, but the wife is still willing to submit to him? Can you tell me one reason why she would still submit to him despite him?
Because her love of Jesus.
One other thing. Why?
Fear?
Why would she submit to him besides that?
Out of fear.
Well, because low self-esteem. She don't think she has anywhere else to go.
The thing that comes to mind is if she's the light in that house and everything else is dark,
Right.
she will win him over.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
But I was gonna say I was gonna go back to your story.
morning.
I was gonna go back to the story she said. The husband kicked her out. Said if you leave, I'm locking the door, and you can't come in. So she slept in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
When he woke up, he finally woke up, turned the lights on, let her in. Her first response was, "Good morning. What do you want to eat?"
Mm-hmm.
She was the light.
She was.
And because she was a light, she won him over. We talked about this earlier. Silence can win over. She was that light. She won him over. Now he becomes he's a famous writer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know,
That's
because of that moment.
Yeah.
Same thing you're saying. Because of that moment, her silence and her respect for him and her submission for him won him over. So now he is the man that God created him to be.
And it goes back to what I said, why wives submit to their husband, because they love Jesus. If you love Jesus, you don't mind being the light in that house for Jesus. When everything else in that house is dark. You know how many marriages were saved because she was being obedient despite him? And now all of a sudden he gives his life to Christ. He becomes the head, and before you know it, you have a happy marriage.
Right. And
Byron says
It's a reason why God commands the woman to submit to her husband.
And Byron says in Genesis, that's the reason why it says she's a helpmeet. Helpmeet. Some people say helpmeet. Some people say helpmate. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Don't make it. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Leave it alone.
I already, don't do it.
I will stop before
B,
you
come
even
get your
get
boy.
further behind. Where you are right now.
You got 9 minutes, so just hold your peace. What they say, hold your mule. Hold your mule.
Hope and me.
That
Oh
too.
my God.
You're so through.
Just stop it.
This is so through. He
Just
has no
stop.
home training. Mom, where are you?
That's good.
No training at all.
Well, mule is meat, right?
Boy. Okay, so have we concluded with this? He said, "I'm so glad we did." He said, "Are you guys glad we did?" He say, she say again.
Yes, of
We
course.
love this segment. We love it.
Yeah. So
We're gonna come up with and you
That's
guys feel
very
free to
info, by the
submit
way.
some
Thank
topics
you
for
for
us
that.
to choose
Thank
from,
you.
so we can talk about them every week.
yes, please do.
So please do, because bench warmer, don't let him choose them all the time. And we have long discussions like this one.
Next week is gonna be meat or mate. Which one you
Oh
want?
my goodness! See this nut over here. My goodness.
You choose meat or mate. Which one? Which one's better for the soul?
Oh my gosh. Lordy have mercy. So, okay.
So I think we solved that problem or that issue.
I think that Professor had the best definition.
Oh, absolutely.
The
Yes.
best definition of submission. I love that. And loving leadership. Submission is
A natural response
to loving
to
leadership.
loving leadership with the understanding of being humble.
Amen.
Y'all write that down.
Amen. Yeah, we gotta write that down. I'm gonna go back and record it and put it on one of our Motivation Mondays or something, because that was
heard
beautiful.
it first from the professor.
Yeah.
Enlightened us.
Oh Lord,
That was beautiful.
there we go with that.
We might have
Well,
to,
don't think. Appreciate that.
we might have to throw the show for good sports.
You know what? I told him we need to have just a whole show just for he say, she say.
Oh yeah.
We do.
Oh, trust me, there's some
Yeah,
subjects.
trust me.
Oh my
my
gosh.
goodness.
Oh my goodness.
We-
and we
The whole
don't have
2
enough
hours.
time.
Right, right.
Yeah, we
We-
don't have enough time to go through them.
Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, so security again takes over the show.
Yes. I did not try to
is
take over the
supposed-
show.
This was supposed to be a 30-minute segment.
Sorry.
30 minutes.
And he warned me too.
We're
Don't
going-
he told me don't take over the show.
We're gonna have to docile you down to 30 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Work you in 30 minutes.
Yes, sir.
'Cause
I'm going to be submissive.
We'll see that. Y'all heard that, right?
I'm going to try my best to be submissive.
So,
Byron says, I guess I need to drop in on my
No
brother.
problem.
You do be. You need to come over here.
It happens.
We talking about meat and
do
stuff.
it.
I said we do 4 quarters next
Yeah, we do 4 quarters.
I'm
we had
sorry,
4 quarters. We had more
It was your
scandals.
topic.
We had more scandals. That topic always is a good topic.
It's a great topic.
We had scandals. Let me introduce you guys to Tawana.
Come on over here.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you have my seat. Come on over here.
Yeah, talk about your business. We got a few minutes left.
Yeah, we got a couple minutes.
We'll close out. Put your headphones on.
This is your time.
All right. Your time to shine, girl. Your time to shine.
Yes. Hi, family. I am Tawana Naomi Fisher, and I am the sole founder of the Oaks of Righteousness Cancer Foundation, where we are the mediators in the healing process for cancer patients and caregivers through 3 pillars of strength: spiritual wellness, physical harmony, and mental stability.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful. I
So
love that.
mentally, I got some problems. Huh? So my stability is mentally is just not there, is it?
How much insurance should I get?
Let's load up on insurance.
Whoa, see?
Because the worst thing that we do have, or that I help navigate a lot of couples that's dealing with cancer, is not just the physical cancer, but it's the cognitive cancer that disconnects the family unit. And that's what happened to mine, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
So there's.
So is it positive thinking that helps?
Yes, staying rooted, first of all, in the Word of God,
Mhm.
positive energy, positive vibrations, and no matter what happened in my marriage, I still chose to forgive him and to love him, but also I had to understand it was time for me to move forward. Once I prayed to God and I got the release from the marriage, I left with total forgiveness and nothing but health and wealth and happiness for my ex-husband.
Wow. All right. We are looking forward to, because the initial plan is to have you come in however you want to do it and talk about health and wellness.
Awesome.
Yay!
And we are trying to be more healthy in our household.
That's the key.
If somebody would let me grocery shop.
There is no carrot Congress around.
Your kids don't go shop?
More fish and less red meat.
Absolutely. I don't eat those things.
This is the steak and potatoes man over here.
Oh, but we're going to get some pizza after this.
We sure are.
Okay.
It's fish pizza.
No beans and cornbread?
Chicken and spinach. That's what we're going to do. Chicken, spinach,
Beans and cornbread.
feta cheese.
I do eat those. In beans, you get fiber. You get a little bit of protein depending on which bean you eat.
Can I put some
I love you.
Pete said yours is mental.
Okay.
Pete, when you coming by, man? You need to come by the house.
So again, we're gonna bring you on the show, and then we're gonna spin off and have you do your own show.
Thank you so much for having me and
Awesome.
seeing the spirit and the mission God has given me, and I'm just running with it.
Are you moving to Dallas, or are you already
I
here?
have been here a hot second, a week and a half. I'm still working on getting my license here for in dentistry. I'm a dental hygienist.
Okay.
Wow.
And so I come with.
Yeah,
I need some teeth whitening.
that's why she was on the other side of Arlington when we still.
Don't do that. Do not do that. Be nice, bitch warmer.
Her GPS had her in Atlanta. I'm like,
He was like, "Where?" I was like, "No, I got here before 6
Yeah,
o'clock."
he was like, she's sitting in front of the house. We both
I was
looking out the window like, where's she at?
Listen, and I was like, thank you, God, nobody called the police, because I'm sitting out there in my car and I'm working, and I was literally down the street. He's like, do you see me? I was like, no, I don't see you. I'm looking around, but do you see this? And he was like, no. I was like, oh, God.
Oh my goodness. Glad you didn't knock on the door.
and
Amen.
she was making sure I knew where I stayed at. Where is there such and such on your street? No, there's not. You're not here. You're not here.
I did. I said, well, do you see a bulldozer?
No, you're not here.
Do you see some cones?
Oh my goodness.
You're just not here.
And then wait a minute,
He
wait a
said
minute,
you
I
look
said-
a little plump.
I said, let me drop you my location.
Yeah, let me tell you where I'm at. You're not here. I'm like, first of all, you're not from Dallas, so you don't know where you are.
I don't.
But you're
Well,
actually
welcome to
just
Dallas.
right around the corner, huh?
It was just around the corner.
So where are you looking to locate? Like, I mean, where have you located? Are you in the city of Dallas? Are you on the outskirts or?
I'm just kind of everywhere. You know, I have family, Ashley, that's in Louisville. I have my cousin, Diddy Slim. He's in the Oak Cliff area. I have family that's in Grand
Did he Slim's your cousin?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know.
You don't know?
I know who that is. Girl,
You know,
keep talking.
We grew up very close. Our parents were close. My dad and his mom were the best of friends, and so we ended up being the same way too, though. So
Okay.
I still don't know. But
you still don't know him, but that's my cousin.
All right.
First cousin. And
Well, again, welcome to Dallas. Welcome to 411
thank
Sports
you.
on the 411 Radio Network.
there you go. Okay, so as we're wrapping up, we told you about Tawana. Thank you, Professor, for giving up your seat and giving us that
Thank you,
definition
Professor.
of
Thank you, Professor.
Support, submission. That definition you gave us.
No problem.
Huh?
No problem.
I got you covered.
It's a beautiful.
Make sure you guys go look, check out the
Hey, Quinn.
the website. Make sure you go check out the new paper. We're coming out with another paper Thursday. In the paper last week, we did have the Marvel Comics, best ways to watch the Marvel Comics. So go check that out. I am the bench warmer, sitting in with security. Tawana, we got to get you another name. We got to get you a name. Professor's over there. This again been 411 Sports Talk Radio on 411RadioNetwork.com. We'll see you because I think we're out.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching. It's some good music.